Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. I want to say thank you so much for liking, subscribing, viewing, and watching and listening, and I truly appreciate it. Anything that is exclusive on Patreon or Spotify, I will be making sure to update. We will be doing more free content though, just so we can be able to have more episodes. And yeah, thank you so much. I can't wait to be able to do more with you. So today we are gonna dip back into music. Yes, we are. We are going to be talking about Brandy's Full Moon. So we had already talked about her self-titled debut. We talked about Never Say Never. And we just recently talked about Moesha. So Full Moon was literally after all that and just her pushing and moving forward, honestly. And you know, in retrospective, it's something because in this time period, you know, 2001, 2002, there was just so much going on. So the artistry from a lot of people was really standing out, especially if they've already been out before. So this was, you know, her along with other people being able to just be like, hey, you know, I'm still me, I'm here, what's up? So let's get into it. Full Moon is the third studio album by Brandy. It was released by Atlantic Records on March 5th, 2002 in the United States. The album was recorded primarily during the summer and fall of 2001 at the Hit Factory Criteria in Miami amid a 3-year musical hiatus following the success of her multi-platinum previous studio album, Never Say Never, in 1998. And the finale of her highly successful television sitcom Moesha in May 2001. As with Never Say Never, Brandy collaborated with producer Rodney Jerkins and his Dark Child production and songwriting team on the majority of the album's composition, while Mike City, Warren Campbell, and Keith Crouch contributed additional production. So yeah, this was literally just her being like, all right, well, the show did well, my last album did well, but I gotta continue to do well. No, okay, like I gotta do something else now. And why not? You know, she's an adult, she's grown now, and you know, it was just a new time to get into. The album was recorded from June to November 2001. So yes, there was a lot that was going on at this time. So as she's recording this album, you have Aaliyah, who came out with her self-titled and was just going off. And unfortunately, she had passed away that summer. Of course, 9/11, of course, happened in September. Of course, we had Michael Jackson, who came back in October of 2001 with Invincible. We had, of course, Jay-Z with The Blueprint. We had, of course, I've said this in a previous video, with Missy being back, Genuine being back, Janet Jackson being back. A lot of people were coming back by 2001. A lot of pop artists were emerging, and our alternative artists were emerging too. So it was getting real. It was getting real when it came to a lot of changes and things that were traumatic. That's just, being all the way real. It was traumatic. It was a lot. It was not good. And I was young at the time. I was like, whoa, like this is so much to take in. Like, it's now being labeled as historical events, but it's traumatic. You know, some of the things that were going on. But yes, Brandy credited Whitney Houston, Kim Burrow, and Enya for inspiring her to push the limits of her voice and vocal arrangements. Jerkins credited Michael Jackson, Brandy's voice, and his experiences at European nightclubs for influencing the sound of the album. Her prior relationship and then private relationship with Dark Child in-house producer Big Burt inspired the lyrics and song concepts. Yeah. Musically, Full Moon is an R&B and pop album in that it incorporates various genres such as two-step, garage, electro, and soul, as well as ballads. The album was initially met with mixed reviews from critics, but later earned retrospective acclaim from musicians, singers, and producers, primarily for Brandy's vocal work. It debuted at number 2 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and atop the U.S. top R&B hip-hop album, selling 156,000 copies in its first week, and has been certified platinum by the Recording Academy, selling over 1 million copies in the United States. Full Moon was nominated for several awards, including the Grammy Award for Best Contemporary R&B Album. The album spawned 3 singles: What About Us, Full Moon, and He Is. Yes. There was just so much that she was just peering from. So we'll look at the background here. In June 1998, Norwood released her second studio album, Never Say Never, boosted by the success of its number one lead single, The Boy Is Mine, a duet with singer Monica. It facilitated Norwood in becoming a viable recording artist with cross-media appeal. In total, the album sold 16 million copies worldwide and spawned 7 singles, including Norwood's second number 1 song, the Diane Warren penned Have You Ever. Also in 1988, Norwood made her big screen debut as Carla Wilson, a supporting role in the slasher sequel, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, which garnered her an MTV Movie Award nomination for Best Breakthrough Female Performance. The following year, she co-starred with Diana Ross in the telefilm drama Double Platinum about an intense, strained relationship between mother and daughter. Both Norwood and Ross served as executive producers of the movie, which features original songs from Never Say Never and Ross's Every Day Is a New Day, 1999. So she was working on this movie, she was working on another movie, and she had already finished Cinderella, as also doing Moesha. And when I tell you she was tired, okay? In November 1999, Norwood was hospitalized by hydration. Didn't I tell y'all about this water? Drink this water. Period. It was later revealed that her condition was actually caused from a nervous breakdown that resulted from her then hectic, unhealthy lifestyle in a relationship in which she had experienced emotional abuse. Frightened by the idea that a yet-to-be-made third album would not be able to live up to the success of her previous albums, Norwood went on a lengthy hiatus to reflect and introspect. I needed to rejuvenate, get my creative juices flowing, balance my life with some privacy to find my confidence, find my love of music again, she told Jet magazine in 2002. In mid-2000s, she started refocusing herself on her musical career, contributing songs to albums such as Urban Renewal and the Osmosis Jones soundtrack, 2001. During this time, her voice started to change. She had developed a scratchy, evocative edge to her voice, and now having a deeper and warmer tone with a textured lower register and a notable stronger head voice. Yes, so as Brandy became a woman, an adult, and as she's doing all these other things, her voice is changing. And a lot of times, it's not so much that the voice doesn't get better. The change often makes people feel as though, wow, is this good? Is this bad? And in this case, it was good. It wasn't like she lost her voice completely or nothing. Like she had a better and broader voice to be able to listen to from her previous work, because it just shows that, at that time she was a young girl and now she's a woman. And I can say the same with Monica. I can say the same with a lot of different artists. Some artists still do sound the same after 20 plus years or so. And maybe they may have had vocal coaches throughout the years to kind of make sure that their tone could still stay the same. I'm not saying that everyone, jumps into the industry with a vocal coach or knows how to do their voice. Some people actually come into the industry with no vocal training. I think I had said on Maya's debut that she didn't have any vocal training, and by fear of flying, she said, no, I need to have vocal training along with this imprint where I'm going to be independent. Oh yes, all of this is coming to me. You know, it makes sense. It's okay. But recording and production, it took a minute because, you know, there was different concepts that she wanted to really dive into. Let's see here. Yeah, she worked with different producers. Though Norwood has acknowledged that the creative focus of the album was very much on its technical realization and its sound, she declared Full Moon a concept album based on the development of a male-female relationship. It's definitely the concept for the album, me falling in love, then going through some turbulence, and at the end, I find the person that I really want to be with. So it's great. It's a great concept, and it's a great experience that I had. I found a lot about myself. I found a lot about love. I found out a lot about myself. I found a lot out about love, and I'm just happy to have that reflect in my music. Norwood decided to name the album after its title track, and in reference to the previous 3 years of her life, stating, "I have done a complete circle, and I feel whole." All of that's reflected in the music. That's why I entitled my album Full Moon. It's a concept album. It's autobiographical. Sorry, y'all. It is autobiographical. Here I am twisting words. I'm sorry. It is autobiographical. Oh, I said it right. Oh, sorry, y'all. Everything that I've gone through in the last 3 years is reflected. In a 2002 retrospective of the Full Moon recording process, Norwood shared to Billboard, Aaliyah and Timbaland were her biggest inspirations. Rodney will tell you that Timbaland is one of his favorite producers. I will tell you the same thing. Aaliyah, her tone, and she stacked her vocals too. She was so amazing. Her music still today is timeless. There's a song on Full Moon. It's called Anybody, and it's like an Aaliyah song. We just loved how they did what they were guided to do, and I was like, we gotta do that. So Aaliyah and Brandy were close, just as Brandy and Monica became close over time. And I gotta say that there was a lot of people that were inspired by Aaliyah because she was the first. Just like when I say with Kim, she was the first. There wasn't anyone that was doing what they were doing at the time, whether it was 94 or 96. No. When they came out, when Aaliyah came out, and when Kim came out, that was it. Women said, I want to do that too. Period. I don't want no one feeling like, you know, whether it's rap or R&B, that there weren't certain people that were paving the way, even if they didn't have a, you know, polished way of doing it. It actually led to other people who did have a polished way of doing it, you know? And I'm not saying Brandy was completely one of those people, but she did idolize Aaliyah. And it's just, when you pay homage, it really means a lot. Because Aaliyah was older. Aaliyah was more focused, and she may have not had all the tools that other people may have had after her, but that doesn't mean that she did not show that if she was given those tools, honey, you see how she did with that movie? You see how she did with Romeo Must Die. You see how she did with Queen of the Damned. And you've seen how her albums were just growing her, just everything. And so with Brandy, when it came to Full Moon, with her third album, it was similar. It was a similar thing where I'm like, wow, like, no, for the past 3, 4, whatever years, I've been really like going through some things, and I need to get them out. And even if I sound a little different, it's going to be better than what I had. And ultimately, yes, it was a little bit and much more better because we were hearing an adult sense. Aaliyah with her self-titled, same thing. We're hearing them as adults now. We're not hearing them as young girls trying to figure shit out. Like, no, these are women now. Okay, get into it. So yeah, the critical reception of this album was met with mixed reviews. Entertainment Weekly gave Full Moon an A- rating, saying that where Rodney Jerkins' herky-jerky stylings come off cold on Jacko's latest, they embolden 23-year-old Brandy as she learns the difference between teen heartbreak and grown-up betrayal, suggesting maturity and the high price that often comes with it. So I don't know why they called Jacko Michael Jackson. They needed to not say Jacko on him. Yeah, but they say that this album was her most assured, risky album, too, because they were so used to her having a certain sound, and she really experimented, just like a lot of artists did back in the early 2000s. And yeah, there was people that was just as much saying that with Aaliyah's self-titled that was her Control album, that this was Brandy's Control album, as far as referencing to Janet Jackson, where it's like, no, we are really hearing this woman be who they are in their own lane. But yes, the album was definitely nominated. There were other artists that were definitely getting more shine, but that doesn't mean that she was not doing well herself. But yeah, let's get into the track list. The track list is track 1, Be Rocka, intro. Track 2, Full Moon. Track 3, I Thought, which is slightly slept on. Track 4, When You Touch Me, that's definitely slept on. Track 5, Like This. Track 6, All in Me, that's slept on. Track 7, Apart. Track 8, Can We. Track 9, What About Us? Great song. Track 10, Anybody. Track 11, Nothing, which is also slept on. It's Not Worth It is track 12. That's slept on. You mean the world to me, and all I do is try to give you all of me. I'm a fan. I know music. Track 13, He Is. Track 14, Come a Little Closer. Now that's definitely slept on. There were a little bit more ballads with this album compared to her first. Well, just as much, I should say. Track 15, Love Wouldn't Count Me Out. Track 16, Wow. Wow is slept on, and Love Wouldn't Count Me Out is slept on. Wow is definitely slept on because it's like, it's really, it's peaceful. It's you hear the violins, and he's always thinking of me. He's nothing like you at all. Let me stop. Die With You, which is track 17. That's with Ray J. The international edition had Another Day in Paradise, which is also with Ray J. And then track 18, which is Full Moon, that's a remix. Then there's the US limited edition, Australian / Japanese edition's bonus track, I Want to Fall in Love. But, you know, if you had the North American edition, you had Die Without You. If you had the international edition, you had Another Day in Paradise. So you either had one or the other with her brother. If you can have both. Which later on in the greatest hits that she had released, she did have both on there, which is good because it was just like, yeah, like, it's still y'all songs. But yeah, it still did well in the UK. It went number 1 in the UK, you know, on the R&B albums, and number 9 on the UK albums, you know. But yes, guys, definitely stream and check out this album. I will say that in the midst of this album's release, by, you know, the spring, she did have a daughter, Sarah. I think that's how you say her name. But she is now in her 20s, so her daughter is very much grown now. But yes, Brandy was able to experience and learn motherhood at this time as well. So I mean, the vocals and everything is pretty much, the album itself was pretty much in the midst of her being pregnant and understanding that she's pregnant, and, you know, is there any touch-ups that we got to work on, because the album definitely came out in March, but she had a baby, her daughter, by June. So it was just, you know, she was able to do as much as she could in the midst of being able to say, hey, you know, I'm a mom now, you know, and there was a lot of her peers that were not too far from her, if we're all the way real. A lot of people were starting to have kids. Michael Jackson had kids, okay? I don't care what y'all say, those are his kids. Those are his kids. He was sitting with them, reading books, and spending time with them privately wherever he went and wherever he was going to be with them. And again, in this peak of time in the 2000s, privacy was something that people were really craving. Nowadays, I don't even know why people don't crave privacy. They just let everything out now. No one did just, oh, I can make money doing this. Like, nowadays, it's just not sacred anymore. I don't know. Like, it's just, you don't want to not be private no more. Everyone wants to just be underneath everybody. I don't know. Not my thing. However, yes, this was definitely a retrospective album. And even to this day, I know Brandy looks at this album possibly and just says, wow, like, from here, I really became a woman. Yeah. But that's the end of our episode, guys. I truly appreciate you watching and listening, and I will definitely be back with more.